this moment. Here I am in the place I am meant to be. Nothing can hurt me, nothing can shake me. I am free, I am home. Here I am, here and now, in this moment.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, thank you for coming this morning. It's for you that are not with us in person, it's raining in Charlotte. But we have brave souls who have arisen to the occasion, and I appreciate that. That is commitment. So today we're just gathering in our cafe to, it's a more open forum. It's just to discuss whatever you'd like to discuss. I'll start out with a kind of a thought, and if that catches on, fine. If you have other things on your mind that you want to take it, that's fine too. So we'll do that. Let's start out with just a moment of prayer, and let's take this moment to enter into our heart space where divine wisdom dwells. She in all her glory, the one we call Sophia, the mother of our wisdom. We know we're bombarded with so much knowledge. It's everywhere at the touch of our finger. But we do lack wisdom. How do we use this knowledge? For it says, wisdom knoweth how to build the house. So we have all of that we need to build the house. But if we don't have the architect, the plan, the purpose, then what do we build? So today we come as your builders, building upon the solid rock of your presence, of your truth. Guide us, lead us today throughout the entire service today, the community service, coming together, and all that is done, may it be for your glory. And we ask this in the name of the loving presence of the Christ, and so it is. So I would just like to start out with some kind of a thought that's on my mind today, and I just picked this up upstairs and it turned right to prayer. So prayer seems to be an issue here that we're still working with a little bit to kind of see where we're going to land as we move from a 3D prayer to what it might mean to move into this 5D new earth level of prayer. Most everything that we've been taught, all of us who have been in this for a while, we know that it changes, that there is no absolute in our beliefs of anything, because we grow in consciousness and therefore we draw in information that matches that consciousness. When the consciousness changes, the information changes, and the belief system changes. So we're always updating our belief system about a lot of these subjects, like prayer, that is kind of taken for granted. And it's good that we don't take any of this for granted, but that we stay present with it. So I'd just like to start out reading a quote from Charles Fillmore, the founder of Unity, and what he said. He says, prayer is the most accelerated form of mind action known. I really like that. That has a feel to it of empowerment. Prayer is the most accelerated form of mind action known. It steps up mental action until man's consciousness synchronizes with the Christ mind. That's what prayer is, a tuning. When you pray, you're tuning yourself to what already is. You're not praying for what isn't. You're not begging, you're not asking, you're not coming from a state of lack, but you're coming to a place of knowing. And sometimes it's hard to know that we're created whole when things are falling apart around our life, or something is going on in our physical bodies. So through prayer, we come out of that lower consciousness of perception, and we move into, I know that I'm whole. I don't care what my eyes see. I don't care what my ears, I don't care what is coming through my sensory. I know. See what I'm saying? knowing then becomes faith. That's really what faith is. Calling those things which are not as though they were, because they are. They didn't quite finish that scripture. They really should have said, I call those things which are not as though they were, because they are. So prayer tunes us to a level of consciousness in which we have this heart knowing. I hope you get that, because that's when we say I am created whole and our body is going through a challenge or our life's going through a challenge. The ego jumps in there and says, really? Oh, come on. Look at the shape you're in. But then you can step up through prayer to a consciousness of the Christ mind that says, I know I'm whole. I know my Creator is whole, therefore I am whole. So I like that. It steps up mental action until man's consciousness, woman consciousness, synchronizes with the Christ mind. It is the language of spirituality. Oh, we can get on that. Is that where sometimes the angel language comes in, the spirit language comes in for some of us who are not afraid of it? I really think people are very more afraid of the going into the language thing, because I think you have to lose control to do it. Most everything we're dealing with comes back to control issues. I'm convinced of that. And for some reason, we still want to control our spirituality. You can't do that. Spirituality is letting go of the control and realizing that I'm just a vehicle, I'm just a vessel, I'm just a facilitator. And you just step out of the way and say, here I am. And it comes. Anyway, the language of spirituality. Now, I think he's probably meaning the language of being positive, the language that synchronizes with our spiritual beliefs and what we know. When developed, prayer makes mankind master in the realm of creative ideas. Yeah. Ooh, I really like that. So prayer can bring you into a place where you can really start getting ideas that you want to co-create. You had something?
She said it. You have to repeat it. She said it again.
Oh. When developed, prayer makes us, as mankind, master in the realm of creative ideas. So it is through prayer we claim what already is true in the absolute, or the God mind. Investing time in prayer. Here's that word. What are we doing on Wednesday? How are we investing our energy? That's our subject on Wednesdays. How that we choose to invest our energy. And here's that word kind of shows up. It's funny how words stand out when you're connected to something like the Wednesday class. I probably would not even have stopped with that word invest by reading this. But because it took me somewhere that's present, that's going on right now, it stood out to me. Investing time in prayer is one way to take divine ideas from the unformed to the formed, from the invisible to the visible, from the unlimited to the limited. It is one way we step up our consciousness so that we live more and more from our Christ nature and less from the personality or ego level. So, I thought that was just kind of good. It's nothing probably we don't know or not heard, but just a reminder of the fact that prayer is more attuning of our own consciousness to the level of the Christ mind, where we experience a knowing beyond our sensory perception of how things appear to be to how things are in the realm of what we call heaven. Heaven is the inner place in ourselves. It is the high state. Our elevated state is really what the word means in Greek, elevation of state of consciousness. So let's just open this up. We're talking about prayer today. So, and we do have some folks that is looking for prayer today. I got a call from Ebony that she was in the emergency room with her son who had a blackout. So we definitely want to remember her. We're hearing a lot from Wilma. If you remember, Wilma has shown up on the scene again. She's in the hospital also, going through some tests and has been in touch with Tim mostly. So I promised that we would prayer. So anybody else, while we're doing this, we'll just have, yes.
Anybody else who needs prayer?
Yeah. Yeah, if there's anybody on your mind, this is what.
My nephew needs a lot of prayer. Just highest and best, that's all.
And his name, give me a first name.
Evan.
Evan. There's something
In
powerful about
Colorado.
naming the name. Okay, so we'll remember Evan in prayer.
Continued prayer for Miles, my grandson, who is, I guess, experiencing what most kids experience at that age, from about 12 to 15 or 16. But he's just having a hard time.
Yeah,
But you know what surprises me so much about him is that he is so gifted. He is so smart, and yet he doesn't want to do the work. You know, he don't want to be in class. His mind and body would rather be somewhere else.
So you said from the ages of what?
Puberty, I guess you know.
So what chakra is he developing right now? Somebody tell me.
Root.
No.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, you're right.
Solar plex.
Yeah, solar plexus. I was thinking root with the sexual.
Yeah,
Urges.
solar plexus from 12 to adult.
Right. It's your relationship
So-
with yourself.
But he's also, at the same time, I see a real overlapping of the second and third chakra, which is your sacral chakra. So that's when, about the age of 12, you start feeling hormones and you start feeling the body that you've incarnated in.
Part.
Yeah,
And-
he's grown.
and-
He's 6 foot. You know, he's,
So the main one he's dealing with, though, is his adolescence initiation. You see, Jesus was 12 when he astounded them in the teachings, and you'll see the age of 12 coming up in a lot of spirituality. The bar mitzvah, the Jewish young man, young woman is at that age of 12. In the religion I was raised in, 12 was the age of accountability. That's when you need to get to the altar and get saved or you're going to hell, was at the age of 12 of all things. And I don't know who came up with that other than Jesus was 12. But 12 seems to be a number that is important. So anyway, I'm just saying the fact that you named that, you need to realize he's dealing with his sexuality at the same time his personal power. And kids today don't fit into the world like even the last generation of kids did. This is a whole new generation that is dealing with a whole new world that's different to them. So anyway, let's remember Miles and whatever also. Rita?
My granddaughter, Madeline.
Madeline.
She's hitting the same type of things, you know, body's changing,
Wow.
the fitting in, you just,
Challenging time for young people. Dorothy?
Two different families. Tom, who had a wrist operation recently, and also he has some other health issues that are going to be operated on. And also Kathy Davis and Jim.
Jim.
They're in a nursing
Okay.
facility.
Well, I don't know why this came up, but it did for a reason. So we'll just say Spirit has said, okay, I want you to tune in and bring these people up in your consciousness. I can't bring them up themselves, but I can bring them up in my consciousness and bring them out of the situations that you've all mentioned here, right? So we don't want to meet them where they are, where they think they are. We want to meet them where they truly are as a spirit created being. So let's just do it right now. We're just going to take a moment. And Dorothy, absolutely. And anybody else that's out there that is looking to HeartLight in any way for guidance or healing or a direction or whatever. Spirit knows exactly who you are and where you are. First of all, we take a deep breath. And as we inhale, we just raise our mind into the higher states of our consciousness. Faith are the angel's wings that take us there. The angels of your higher mind. So as we move out of the realm of perception and externalism and sensory appearance, we move into the place in which God is. God is. And God is all things that are real and true. And besides that, all that exists beyond that is only a part of the ego's illusion. You said where two or three of us would be gathered together in your name, in your nature of Christ's mind, that your presence would be there. As we move into the higher states of our mind, we move out of time and space as we know it in the 3D world, and we enter into the knowing state. Every name that has been named here and those that have not, we bring into the higher state with us. Through the eye of enlightenment, we see them whole, well, and all that they've been created to be. Breathe. And just stay with it a few seconds or whatever until you have a feeling of knowing come out of your heart. Of wholeness, completion. See if you can bring that into a feeling of knowing. And as you experience that, you may open your eyes. And let's move right from there. Just stay right in that knowing place.
Well, this is a big deal today because I spent a long time in a prayerful state regarding my nephew and his parents and the situations as they continue to unfold. And I had a really incredible experience. Many times I think my prayers because I know thoughts are things and I follow that, but lately I've been paying more attention to saying things out loud for my own benefit so that I can send that energy. Not only does my verbal words send energy out, but it sends it back through me like a recycling thing. And I also have been writing a little bit about things like that. And I realized as I was deeply speaking in heavenly language that all of those senses were involved in this. It's like running back through again and again. I'm hearing myself, I'm saying in divine language, I'm saying in my own language, I'm hearing it, I've seen it, I've written it, I've done all those things, and I really feel an incredible amount of power surging around all of that at one time.
Right. Very good. I like that. So since this is the direction we're taking, it's about prayer, let's just kind of hang with it and see if we can see where it takes us, where the conversation may take us. So somebody else, about what, when you do prayer, what, can you share kind of how you approach the idea of prayer in your life?
Well, I myself personally have a favorite chair at home that I go to every morning. And if I don't do it in the morning, I try to do it sometime during the day when I am by myself and there's a quiet time. And my main thing is I am so grateful for everything that I have. I have been blessed. You know, I wasn't raised in a family that had a whole lot, but I never had lack. That I can never remember being without something that I needed. Something to eat, something to wear. You know, it's, that's my thing, is expressing my gratefulness for everything and all those that are around me in my life. I read a quote the other day that was on a bookmarker, and it said, "You can go through life believing nothing is a miracle, or you can live your life as though everything is a miracle."
I like
And
that.
that was by Einstein.
Oh, wow. Yes,
So,
in his moments. Well, that's good. I like that you're saying you start out with an attitude of gratitude rather than lack, and we need something we don't have. What a great place to bring you to the state we're talking about, is a state of gratitude. That's what it means when it says praising God or praising something. It just means start out with what you have thankfulness for and you have gratitude from. So that's very good to do that. Cindy, just a minute, I'll get you. I'm behind you.
Also, I am on my hand, and throughout the day, I try to remember all the things that I am grateful for. And all the bad things that have happened in my life, I know I am blessed. And I am grateful because there are so many things that through the bad, you learn the good, and you know that I'm grateful. And I am so blessed because of, I can just go on and tell you how blessed I am.
That's great.
But I am blessed, and I remind myself every day, and I try to remember how my blessings, you know, like you're talking about your prayer, how I would try to, through my blessings, put it out there with other things, you know, my kids, and throw those out there. You know.
So his point of starting with gratitude, yours is the I am point. These are all, you got to find a point
I do the I am.
in your human consciousness that is a point that shoots you into the higher mind. So gratitude, the I am is a great place. Let me get Dorothy here. She was next.
I was thinking that I'm new to prayer, and that some instructors would tell you to go into a meditative state and so forth. But I feel like I'm always in present. I'm always in a meditative state. I'm always in a conscious state of wishing people well, wishing them healing. So I would close my eyes briefly and visualize someone being healed. Because I deal with a lot of internal things as far as healing myself, but also reaching out to others who need to be healed. So I put white light around myself and also put it around whomever I'm talking to, visualizing them being healed.
Right. Okay, that's beautiful.
So, you know, I want to just chop, I want you to be healed, and not rushing it, but doing it in God's time. So this is a different approach.
Very good.
Pray without ceasing.
Yeah.
Prayer
The
without
scripture says
ceasing.
pray without ceasing. So that means there is a state of spirit prayer going on all the time, whether we're into it consciously or not. There's always a state of prayer. Michelle?
Yes, so I would say recently, mine is coming from song. So I'm starting from a place of when I writing down my words and things like that, and it evolves into a song, and then I start to sing. It's getting to a place where I'm elevating, and from the song comes a prayer. So that's the sequence that's been happening recently.
And that's just what Fillmore said here, that at that place you get in creative, tap into your creative juice, so to speak. And that's probably where these songs and things come from, with people who know how to tap in to the ability to create with that. If you remember, I do a teaching on prayer from the Aramaic language, that when they came to Yeshua, it said, teach us to pray. That's a very interesting question, to teach us to pray. And of course, they go into the Our Father who art in heaven and all that, which we're going to be unpacking later at some point, what those are all coded words. It says pray in this manner. It didn't say recite it. But this, I'm giving you a roadmap. So I want to, when we get through with what we're doing on Wednesday, I think we're going to unpack this whole thing. But anyway, since Yeshua, Jesus, whatever you want to call him, he doesn't care, just call him. You heard that old saying. But the word there, prayer, because we believe Jesus spoke Aramaic. He was an Essene, and the Essene spoke Aramaic. And they used Hebrew for loan words. You know, like in English, Papa is more Italian, and there's words in English that we've borrowed from other language and integrated into the English language. Well, there was a language in the Hebrew that didn't have words, so they borrowed from the Aramaic language. So he spoke Aramaic. So you have to look at this word prayer. The word that would have been spoken to him, teach us to slotha. S-L-O-T-H-A. Teach us to slotha. Now, if you remember this teaching, the slotha in the Near East is very more metaphysical than we are in the West. We're very left-brained, patriarchal, male, this, black and white, this or that type of a culture, which is an influence from German culture too. That's why Germans are good at engineering and cars, and now America in English is good at computers and all that kind of thing. So it seems like we've gone more in the West, you know, toward more logical, mathematical, whatever, but other languages go more toward the right brain, to what we call the romantic languages of Spanish, Italian, and other things basically like that. But in the Middle East, every meaning had two meanings, that every word had a metaphysical meaning to it. So the word slotha has two meanings to it. For the natural part of it, it means set a trap. So it'd be a word that would be used if somebody was going hunting, and they go out and set a trap and get still and see what they can catch. Isn't that interesting? Why would he use the word slotha for prayer, meaning to set a trap and catch something? Well, what he was saying to them in Aramaic, in the spirituality, is still your mind, get quiet, and you're able to trap the thoughts of God. That's what he was using. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
That's beautiful. How would you know that if you didn't know the language in which they spoke at that time, or the culture? That's why people don't understand the Bible. That's why there are often so many different denominations. You cannot believe how many churches will meet in this city and in the country that will all teach out the same book. They'll use the same verses, and they'll all be different because they'll make that verse fit the dogma and the doctrine of the religion that they're in. They don't understand how that these are all metaphors and parables and archetypes and things that we could understand in our human mind, but it was not there to stay in our human mind. It was there to lead us from the human mind into the mind of spirit, into Christ consciousness. Okay? So I just thought it was interesting. That's what he said about prayer. Prayer can also be not praying for other people and other things sometimes, but it's very close to almost meditation. Meditation is the same thing. It's a part of the prayer in which we are still and quiet. Be still and know. It doesn't get any better than that. Be still and know. I am the God. It doesn't get better than that. But anyway, we're talking about prayer for you that just came in, and anybody else want to share on something to do with how you kind of approach prayer? Yes.
For me, it's like, I know it sounds wrong that you shouldn't be just asking for God to do things for you, but it's always when I need something, when I have something on my heart that's confusing me, or I really feel like I'm in a dark place, that I kind of reach out and I'm like, I really need some advice right now. And I'm almost like searching for a message or some advice from whatever the spirit or deity is that's responding to that question.
So what you're saying is sometimes we need a little help from our friends, so to speak. I'm in a darker place where I'm just not getting there, so I reach out to those in my life that are spiritual partners. And there are such, I call them star mates. Star mates are people that have found each other from other lifetimes in this lifetime, and they kind of have that frequency they share in which they kind of know what each other's thinking. They can finish their sentences with each other. I'm sure you've had that experience or have that experience with somebody in your life. That's a star mate, I call them. There's different star mates, soul mate, and twin flame. And I'm always glad for the star mates, because that's who I would call. Because I know one thing, I have a relationship with them. They're not going to try to tell me what to do, or, oh, that's wrong, you need to shape up and judge me. But I know that they'll just listen to me and stay neutral with me. See, and you want those kind of people in your life. So that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. That sometimes we just need prayer partners. Prayer partners that we can refer to and say, I'm just in a place where I hit a wall here. So can you assist me to get through this blockage that I'm feeling and move on in? So that's a good thing. But I do want to say, praying for oneself is a good thing. There's a scripture that I wish some preacher got a hold of and made millions of dollars on a book. But I taught it years ago, because in one of the books of the records of generations of people in the Bible, about every one of them was famous for something. Joseph was meant for the coat of many colors, and all of them, except I came to one that says, and Jabez was more honorable than all the brethren. And I thought, who is Jabez? I knew the other guys. They were all well-known prophets and people of the Bible, but who's this Jabez that's most honorable than all of them? And in reading that, the thing that was different about Jabez was that he said, oh, God bless me. And I thought, what's going on here? And what I heard is, God, if you bless me, then I'll take this blessing and bless others.
Yeah.
I can be more for people if I'm in a good place. And I say that because religion has taught us not to do things for ourselves, that's wrong, that's selfish. And I thought from that, no, it's all right to say, God bless me, because the more blessed the more blessings you give me, the more blessings I can share with others. I can't help you if I'm down. So let's say this happens again, what we're talking about, and you're kind of got a block and you're in a darker place and need some help. And then you call somebody and they're in a darker place and trying to need some help. You can't, that's not going to work. So you got to find, somebody that's up to bring you up. See, because lower frequency will always match higher frequency. It's always trying to raise itself to the next level of a frequency. So I think that's important, who we match ourselves kind of with in our lives. Anyway, so Anybody else want to share something about?
I was just thinking, did any of y'all had the prayer when you were little that now I lay me down to sleep?
Yes.
I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake,
I
pray the Lord my soul to take. Well, I'm going to tell you, after saying that at night, I could hardly go to sleep because I was afraid I wasn't going to
That's
wake up.
right. Thank you.
I always
you.
felt that was kind of a crappy prayer.
I agree. I didn't do it, but
If I should die before I wake, so you're laying there at 6, 7 years old, you know, and you're wondering, well, I'm going to make it in the morning.
So was wondering.
you can end up with insomnia later, right? I'm not going to sleep. It means death. That's interesting. Thank you. Good idea. Similar to meditation prayers, one way you can fulfill your potential and demonstrate more of the Christ you already are. When you pray from the awareness of oneness, divine mind, you are claiming the truth of your beingness. I think we are too much into our doingness than our beingness. We say we're human beings, but we're mostly human doers. And we think by doing we'll get someplace, but by being, we're already there. And that's back to the I am. The I am is a state of being. And I love the scripture that says, I live, I move, and I have my being in Christ's mind. See, I live, I move, and I have my being in Christ's mind. So you're claiming the truth. The truth here is a capital T. And I've tried to teach you all there's a difference in what is true for you and what is the truth for you. Because I'll guarantee you, in a diverse group like this, if we all got together and started comparing what we believed about something, I'm going to say the majority of people is going to have a little different twist about what is true for them. And we find that okay here, that we can have differences. But, and each one of you must experience what is true for you, because that's based on the path you have followed, what material you've read, what workshops you've been in, what teachings you've sat under. You're the result of that, and that's been very different. We've all come from different places. We're a bunch of renegades. You know, we didn't all come from the Catholic Church or the Methodist Church or whatever. There's all kinds of diversity here of backgrounds from where we all have come from. And therefore, our path has kind of taken, that's given our path a certain direction of what we needed to draw into our life at that point. So was I saying something? I don't know. So, but the truth, with a capital T, and the truth shall what?
Set you free.
Okay. So, again, I'm repeating myself, but this is a good time on these little classes to take some pieces of stuff I do over there and focus on them. I've been wanting to know the truth since a child. It's just me. I just wanted to know the truth. I sat in these services and listened to all this preaching, and I just thought, I need to know the truth. I can't let my aunt tell me my truth, who was my pastor. And I knew that. I knew I couldn't let somebody out there tell me the truth. I had to find the truth. Now, how I know that, I don't know. It's innately in me. And of course, I thought I found it in the first, when I left religion and went into a ministry that at first I just loved, and I thought, man, I have found it. This is the one. The crucified way, folk. Thank God it wasn't the one. But I thought, this is where I'm going to stay. This is where I'm going to grow. This is where I'm going to develop my ministry. Well, what blessed me in the beginning betrayed me in the end. I was betrayed by that whole thing. And then I went into some other things, and I won't go through all of them. I got into Sons of God. I got into different movements, and each one of them was the one that I thought had the truth. But every one of them kind of betrayed me in the end. It just wasn't that enough. It just wasn't what I was looking for. I gleaned from all of them, but I could not make them the absolute. So I spent a lot of decades going from this movement and this school of thought and that school of thought, thinking that this is it. And finally, in the last 80s, and a lot of this happened for me, and for some reason, 80s, 88, 87, 89. I don't know what happened, but there was a transmission that came into this planet, according to Ken Carey, and I believe that because that was a transformative time in my life. I don't know what's going on with you back then, but you might look at what was going on in the latter part of 80s in your life, because there was a lot of things that was happening. And so I was just at a place where finally I just got still with it and quit running. Sometimes you think you're going to find it by keep going and doing and doing. See, I was being a doer. And when I stopped and just kind of said, okay, this is not working. I can't continue this. And I stopped. And then I had the experience. And the experience was very simple, just reaching over, getting an old Bible that I had and just opening it. You ever done that with any book at all? Just open a book and it's just the right thing. You're on the right page. And I opened up to the page in the Bible where Jesus was standing before Pilate, representing the powers to be, if you do it metaphysically, and stood before the law. And Pilate said, Jesus, what's the truth? Now, I would have thought Jesus would have had plenty to say. You know? He had a hold of the book of Isaiah. He had a book of some things in there. He could have really just preached him a sermon and told him his truth. But he didn't. He never answered. So I'm waiting. Oh boy, what's the truth, Jesus? This is it. And I'm waiting, so to speak. And I'm trying to read down. Come on, speak, Lord, speak. And my answer was in the silence of not finding the answer written down in the Bible. I knew, how I knew, I don't know, but I knew he was saying, I am the truth. I don't have a truth for you. I don't have a philosophy. I don't have a theology. Truth is my identity. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. I am the bread that cometh down from heaven. All the I ams that came out of him was the truth that set him free. Set him free from what? All the stuff we are trying to get free of. Past ancestral genetics that we are not blessing us. Old religion doctrines that still want to hang around in our unconscious and subconscious part of ourselves. That's the thing. That's all a part of our ego identity that needs to be crucified. Or undone is the word there for crucified. The undone of the ego. Jesus, they've made him so divine, but you don't realize he had a culture, he had a religion, he had a race, he had parents, he had genetics, he had everything just like we do. But his whole crucifixion was the undoing of his ego mind until there was nothing left but the Christ that he was. And the truth made him free of a pseudo self. And today our truth is in our identity. Let's all just say 3 times, I am the truth. I am the truth. I am the truth. I am the truth. And so it is, and we are free today. All right. Okay, time's up. Thank you for coming on a rainy day and being a part of today's class, and I hope it's been of some benefit or use to you.
Thank you.
And I love this build of just taking something that we say a lot of out there and just focusing in on pieces here and being able to discuss it. So thank you very much for coming.
Here I am, here and now, in this moment. Here I am, in the place I am meant to be. Nothing can hurt me, nothing can shake me.